Welcome back to Coach Factory. I'm Kathy, and this is the channel where we talk about your coaching business and how to grow it, how to have more fun coaching, make more money, all of that fun stuff. But for you to get more money, you need more coaching clients. You need better coaching clients. You need to price things right. Today, I want to talk to you about marketing. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you've noticed, the internet is a very noisy place. There are a lot of people out there. There is all of this new AI generated content, new AI videos, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, full of all of this AI content. How do you compete? Should you lean into AI? Maybe you should even create an avatar of yourself. I did it just for fun. I took all of my content, all of my written content, my audio, my video, and I created an avatar for myself. And I created one for my husband. Now, I've talked about him a little bit before because he was a coach. He was a very successful coach working with very high profile people. And about 3.5 years ago, he had a stroke. But I have all of this content of his, and I decided to create an avatar of him. It's fun. It sounds just like he used to sound before the stroke. I use it to prank family members. I have even given it to some of his old clients to see if that kind of coaching works for them. It didn't. They didn't resonate. The thing I noticed about these AI avatars, and there's going to be more and more of them because the technology is going to get really good, but it's missing something. It's missing the core of the human. I've also seen people on social media posting avatars of people who have passed away. AI is taking videos and photographs and audio from people who are no longer with us and bringing them back to life. And people are shocked. They hadn't talked to their dad in 5 years, and now all of a sudden here's dad again. What I noticed, though, is that it isn't really dad again. I know because I've got one for my husband, and it sounds like him. It says some of the things that he used to say, but it's not really him. But the experience that I have in hearing my husband speak like he used to again, the experience that many other people are having listening to these types of tools, is within the person experiencing it. You know, it's kind of like when you go to a art museum and there are all of these very beautiful paintings on the walls. You don't necessarily think about the paintbrushes. You don't necessarily think about how that art was created. You only have an experience of it. If you write a book, it isn't about you anymore. You publish it, and then every person who reads it has an experience of that book. And your book will mean different things to different people. Your content, no matter what you're putting out there, is going to mean something different for everyone that consumes your content. AI can't replace humans within this. Sure, it's going to create a video. Sure, it might get some views and likes. But recently, Taylor Swift went on her boyfriend's podcast and had a conversation about her new album. And it was engaging. I looked at it like 24 hours after it was posted, and there were like 14 million views in 24 hours. What was different? Is it just because it's Taylor Swift? I mean, she is a brilliant musician and a brilliant marketer. It was because she was real. She was just herself. They're talking about otters and sourdough and her music and how she and Travis met. It was 100% just real humanity. Now, granted, there's the whole Taylor Swift effect, right? But if you look at content that is created by a real human who actually may have used AI to do some of the work, we aren't judging the work based on what tool was used. We're judging the work based on the final product. We're judging the work based on our experience of that work. What did it make us feel? What did it make us think? Now, in coaching marketing, AI is never really going to replace us. People can experiment with all of these avatars and have coaching experiences. You can even go into ChatGPT or Grok or Claude and have sort of a counseling session. You can ask all of these AI tools, what should I do about these things? You can research things. It can give you advice. But there's something deeply missing there. There is something that AI and large language models, it's just language, it's just patterns, that it's never really going to get for you. Now, I have used AI in coaching for myself. I wanted to test things because a lot of coaching that I do using neuro-linguistic programming is about pattern recognition and understanding what thought pattern is happening in someone's brain. And so I wanted to test AI and see, can you identify negative belief patterns based on what I am thinking about a certain topic? So I tested it. It was interesting. And then I gave some prompts to one of my clients and had them test. They were dealing with money issues and wanted to find a way around that. And so I gave my client a few prompts. And it was interesting. It didn't necessarily open things up, but it did identify patterns. But it didn't necessarily help someone rewrite the patterns. It didn't help her see things in a different way. We had to change some of her own programming, and that was something that I could only do through coaching and through some self-hypnosis scripts. That definitely helped. She then started to see that she didn't really have money problems. She just wasn't seeing her money in the right way. So it was very helpful for her. I am definitely experimenting with AI in terms of pattern recognition, but in terms of actual coaching, it doesn't seem to have the same impact. It can be a tool, something that you use as part of coaching, but it isn't coaching. Coaching is all about the human connection. And so if you are creating AI generated content, hoping that it's going to bring you coaching clients, it's not going to work. You can use AI to refine your ideas, but the actual connection itself has to be human, because coaching is all about humanity. Coaching is not going to be replaced by AI. It can't, because AI tends to hallucinate a little bit. I noticed that when I used it in pattern discovery, it was very overly optimistic and saw things in a very one-dimensional way. It was not able to get at the nuance, at the underlying belief structures. It just kind of stopped at the surface. Will it ever get better? Maybe someday. But it didn't have that intuitive ability to see beyond the question, to see the underlying structure of what I was asking. I had to do that myself and do that with my client because it only went so far. It gave some interesting things to talk about, but it didn't get at the core issues. Is AI going to replace you? Should you use AI in your marketing? I think, yes, you should use AI in your marketing, but don't think of AI as something that is going to replace you. Don't create content that is 100% AI generated. Instead, use it the same way that a painter uses a paintbrush. Use it as a canvas, but retain your ability to direct the entire experience of content generation. Only you are going to be able to infuse human things into content. You're the only one that's going to be able to tell story. You're the only one that's really going to be able to get at emotion. And as we know, people make decisions based on emotions and they justify it later with logic. AI might help you justify a decision, but it's never going to get at those emotions. It can't. If somebody is saying that AI made them feel something, they are giving their power away to a machine. Only you can really make yourself feel something. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions are all just signposts of what programs are running within you. These AI tools are just programs themselves. They can't replace that underlying human force, that directorship that humans have. They're never going to replace the full story. They're never going to be able to tell your story. And people aren't going to connect with it in the same way they are going to connect with you. So in whatever you're doing, use AI, but never give up full control to the AI tools to create content, to do your coaching, or do anything else. AI is an exceptional research tool, but it can't replace humanity. So if you look around at the content that is most engaging for you, is it AI generated? I mean, it's kind of novelty. It's interesting, right? But it doesn't necessarily connect with you the same way that Taylor and Travis talking about sourdough is going to connect with you. Go ask AI about sourdough and it'll give you recipes, but it's not going to give that human connection, that human perspective. It's never going to be able to tell the story of how Taylor and Travis both created sourdough and whose was better, and that funny story of the two of them and how they bounced off each other as it relates to bread. The human story is always, in every way, going to rise to the top. So if you're putting pressure on yourself to use AI tools because everyone else is doing it, if you're scared that AI is somehow going to replace you, you can forget about that. What AI is asking all of us to do is to not get bogged down with menial labor that machines can do for us, and to really embrace our humanity, to become more human, to become more of who you really are, and put more of that forward. Use AI to support that. When you can do that, your content resonates at a very deep level. People get it, they hear it, they feel it, they engage with it. No matter what niche you're in, you have stories. You have things that potential clients need to hear. You alone have the ability to connect with another human being in ways no one else can. But if you are trying to put AI on the front lines, you're not putting your best step forward. So my challenge to you is to tell your human stories, to put yourself forward, because that's what's going to resonate. That's what's going to grow your coaching business. That's going to really amplify who you are in front of prospective clients and grow a community of people around you who resonate with who you are. It's not about techniques. I mean, if you looked at my last video where I talk about some of the crazy things that have happened for me about my niches, because I have multiple niches in which I create content, and how some people who are coming to me for security content are ending up buying some of my other courses that have nothing to do with security. Why is that? It's because of humanity. They hear something in my voice. They see something in my face. There's some level of trust that I must have put forth in the content I've created that inspired them to go deeper with me, to connect with me. So I challenge you to do some of that, to do more of that, because it's going to change your business. It's going to connect you with people that you've never connected with before. It's going to change the way you coach. Hope this content gave you something to think about. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Are you using AI, and how are you using it? Do you think AI is going to replace humans? And if so, give me your best justification. We'll talk to you next time on Coach Factory.